The STAND4EU project addresses the highly relevant topic of standardization in Europe. Standardization is focused on achieving consensus among a group of stakeholders through conceptual, technical, and political activities. Standards are mainly recommendations up to the market to embrace, and as emphasized in the European Green Deal and in the new industrial strategy for Europe, developing new standards will be essential to boost the European industry's competitiveness and resilience to build a more sustainable future. The mission is to support the rapid adoption of new technologies and further a European society that is prepared and responsive to threats and disasters, and providing high-quality healthcare and empowering all citizens to act in the green and digital transitions. STAND4EU is the EU-funded project to assist in bridging the gap between market and research through standardization.
Basically, STAND4EU born from the necessity of having a centralized way for all the standardization content.
The project involves 7 partners: the European Welding Federation, Siemens, Fraunhofer IGCV, Fraunhofer IPA, Chalmers University, Small Business Standards, and Brunel University. Throughout the 26 months, several workshops were held, external events were attended, and newsletters were published. The project was separated into 4 phases, with the key objective of generating a realistic plan to sustain the developed mechanisms beyond the duration of the project.
4 main domains. You could see the 4 pillars, of which the 4 domains include additive manufacturing or 3D printing, welding, smart manufacturing, and also circular economy.
STAND4EU conducted comprehensive online surveys at national, European, and international levels. The key steps included developing detailed surveys targeting specific challenges within each domain. Over 180 survey responses were collected, exceeding the goal of 120 responses, and 45 in-depth interviews were conducted to gain diverse insights. Respondents highlighted several challenges, and the collected data was analyzed using descriptive statistical methods to identify trends and patterns. These are the identified bottlenecks.
Standardization development lifecycle and extracted a methodology. Based on this methodology, we conducted interviews, surveys, and bilateral talks with our partners from different stakeholder segments.
After the obstacles were identified in Phase 1, work to develop effective remedies and a remediation plan started. The remediation plan is a process to identify how stakeholders can act and respond to the bottlenecks and be proactive. The standards development lifecycle is the process used to create, review, and publish standards to ensure consistency, quality, and compatibility across various industries. Recommendations were formed to make the process more efficient between stakeholders, from research, innovation, and standardization. More specific policy recommendations were assembled to be aimed at SMEs, research projects, policymakers and the European Commission, and standardization development organizations. This resulted in ideas for coaching and trainings, as well as the STAND4EU interface. The STAND4EU interface was created to bridge the gap between research, innovation, and standardization. The interface is divided into 2 parts: the STAND4EU website as well as the portal. The portal facilitates the collection and sharing of information about standardization challenges and solutions, empowering users to overcome obstacles and implement best practices. The portal has around 240 available resources. It incorporates a library of services and solutions related to standards and runs in full synergy with the European Factories of the Future Research Association Innovation Portal. It was designed to be user-friendly by organizing the material based on the content. A way for users to directly through the portal send in questions was developed.
They get inspired from examples of how other researchers have managed to deal with standards in their project, either from the point of view of applying some standards, and on the other hand to see how they have actually reached out to technical committees, for instance.
And that's why standardization is so important. That's why we believe the STAND4EU interface is there to help you.
Portal of STAND4EU is very useful for small medium enterprises, for instance, who do not have the time to really look into standardization and how it works. So it gives you resources, but it also gives you a network community, so you can actually contact specific people who are involved in your industry.
The STAND4EU project has successfully implemented various strategies, including creating a strong project identity, establishing an online presence, producing printable materials, and participating in events.
The coaching was extremely valuable in finding out which of the technical committees and the working groups and the standardization bodies to approach and how to present our project in the right light and get the right feedback on how to contribute to developing the standards that we long identified we need but didn't know how they are being developed. So for this it was very useful.
On the 24th of October, a public information day was held, where experts from different industries held panel discussions and keynote presentations on various critical topics within standardization. The event started with an introduction of the STAND4EU project and concluded with a call to action to participants to support the ongoing standardization efforts. The project will continue to develop and disseminate recommendations through the STAND4EU interface to improve standardization processes.
We do have the STAND4EU and HS Booster projects like to support the bridging the gap between research and innovation and standardization. And of course, we need also future programs like this.
Standards are themselves intellectual assets, and it's very important for technology and transfer offices to include in their portfolio the management of standardization. And this is basically also connected to the capacity building of universities and TTOs.
Where we try to develop a standardization roadmap to develop more standards.
The STAND4EU project has come to a close, marking an exciting step forward in standardization. We're incredibly proud of the research, peer-reviewed publications, and insights we've developed together. But this is just the beginning. Stay tuned for more impactful initiatives aimed at advancing standardization in Europe. Let's keep building a future where innovation and standards go hand in hand.